All right. So if you struggle on sales calls to actually understand if your clients are being genuine when they tell you it's too expensive or they don't have the money, this exact frame, what we'll essentially call the open wallet test, will completely change the game for you, especially in high ticket B2B sales. It doesn't really matter if you're doing B2C or B2B, but specifically for the people following me on my channel here, this is going to be a game changer to understand, because most businesses, and frankly people too, usually have the money and will find a way to get the money if something is important enough to them. But if we're not checking off all the boxes and actually asking the hard questions we need to on a sales call, it's very unlikely we're going to get the outcome that we want, because we're coming from a place of assuming, and we all know what assuming does. It makes an ass out of you. It makes an ass out of me. And so what we want to avoid is when we get to a point on a sales call that we're in objection handling, that we are not one of two things: completely ignoring the logistics of money and not even talking about it and just taking their word at face value. Or two, if we are talking about it, we're not actually going deep enough to understand if that's the actual constraint. Because what I always want to do is tie down logistics, especially money, first. So if they bring to me like, hey, this is great, I want to think about it. Hey, I want to speak to my wife. Hey, I'm looking at options. I always go back to money first. Like, hey, yeah, that makes sense. But just to make sure, like on the money side, like logistically, this is possible for you as well, right? Because it's going to really come down to two main categories of objections, which is going to be money, financial, or uncertainty and fear. All objections fall underneath those two things. And so if we can make sure we tie down the logistics of money, it frees us up to go focus on the uncertainty, the fear, the doubt, whatever other things we need to unpackage with them. But if we don't tie that down well enough, or if that is the main objection and we don't dig in deep enough, you're going to lose deals. You're not going to be sure why. So this is what we call the open wallet test. And I want to walk you through it in this short video so you can leverage this on your sales calls. Now, I've done a video overview before of our sales process and flow. This has been updated, so I'll do a new video, kind of hint, hint, wink, wink. Subscribe to the channel and hit that like button if you want to see this in the future, the full breakdown, which I'm sure do anyways. But what I really want to zero in on is the open wallet test and the deposit frame. And so if they're saying like, hey, like I need more money, or I need to go get more clients first, or I don't have the funding, anything like when they say it's too expensive, that's a different objection, right? That's not that they necessarily don't have the money, but they don't see the value in investing that money into this thing. And so again, you got to tie those two things down. Is it like, hey, you don't have the money at all? Or is it that you actually don't see the value in spending the money on this? So there's two different things, right? In this case, we're going to assume they do see the value, they do want it, but money is a main thing kind of holding them back from doing this. And so what I always start with first, before I even get to the open wallet test, when they say that, you just ask like, hey, so like, what does that mean? Like you could do it, but you just weren't expecting to, or you'd have to like rob a bank or something. I like to throw in some light humor in there. And then, hey, can I be direct with you? Like, do you feel like this problem actually costs you more over the next 90 days than what this investment does? Because if you're making 10K a month right now, you want to get to 50K a month. It's not that this investment of $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 is like, that's not what that costs you. It's actually costing you $40,000 times those 3 months. So $120,000 potentially in missed opportunity. So almost 10 times more than what this investment is, it actually costs you to not do anything. So again, I'm trying to get them back into this outcome-based, consequence-based thinking, not just cost-based thinking. And so then I do this like double tie down. We're like, hey, so like to be clear, like it sounds like you do want this. It's just about the finances, right? Okay, cool. Open wallet test. Now this is where we're gonna get into a couple of different things here, right? And so let me just kind of run through it. So what I would say to them is, and I'll role play this here with myself a little bit, is, hey, like, so a lot of our clients do tend to like to pay this upfront. So they take quick action and they like actually take that action congruent with the painful investment. But for certain clients like yourself who really want this, but finances are an obstacle, we could break that up. So since you do want to do this, like, are you open to having an honest conversation about where your numbers are currently at, just to see if there's any way we can make this work now, or worst case, we can put together a game plan for when you can do this? So what I'm doing is I'm getting on the same side of the table with them, and I want them to actually, see that, hey, like, this isn't just to squeeze you for everything you've got, but if you really want to do this and it can help, and the problem is actually more expensive to leave unsolved, let's look at what the numbers are. So here's the 4 things that I go through. And if I find what I am looking for in one of these 4 things, I don't have to go to the next one, right? So if I discover they do have enough cash on hand, but it is uncertainty or like questioning the investment. So I don't have to go through their access to credit or the credit score, because it sounds like they do have the money. Now I might cross those bridges to make it easier for them to keep cash on hand. But if they tell you through this exercise, when you go, so, hey, like every 30 days, like what is that net cash? Meaning what is left over after your expenses? So you get paid, $50,000 a month, all your expenses hit, then how much is left over? Okay. So about, $2,000 to $3,000 left a month. Understood. And now how much cash do you actually have on hand, like business and personal? And so we're not guessing anymore, guys. We're asking hard hitting, but fair questions from a place of service to get to the root cause of like, what is keeping them from doing this? Because if they tell me again here, they have, I have like $20,000 cash on hand, and it sounds like they do have the money, I'm going to stop, I'm going to step back, and I'm going to make them talk about it. So, well, it actually does sound like you have access to the funds to do this. Is there something else kind of going on or, keeping you from getting started? Oh, well, blah, blah, blah. Now you can go handle other objections. But this is where, the likely scenario, if they've already told you they don't have the money, is like, I got a couple $1,000 a month left over after. Okay, got it. And like, how much cash on hand? Oh, okay, only a couple thousand. Got it. And if those are not options at all, now I start to look at, hey, do you happen to know like how much access to credit you have? Like, so you could put this, an initial payment down, get results for 30 days with 0 interest, and then be able to kind of start to pay it off from the wins you manufacture, so you don't have to touch any of your cash on hand. Or if, again, that's not an option, hey, do you happen to know what roughly your credit score is? And then I'll start to vet them for if it makes sense to leverage an outside funding partner that we can take advantage of. And so here's the next couple of frames I'd go through. Hey, so based on everything you kind of shared with me, like I actually wouldn't recommend you pay in full or pay it all up front, because I don't think that's going to serve you the best based on what your situation currently is. But I also don't think the best situation or the best thing to do here is nothing, right? So I think the right move, since I know you are a great fit and I know you want to get started, but let's try and figure out a way to do that doesn't put a ton of pressure on you right out of the gate. And so what we could do for you would be, now you get into a prescription of what your payment plans look like. So it could be a split pay of the full amount. It could be a monthly payment plan. It could be a 3-pay, whatever is ultimately going to make sense. Try not to give them all the options at once, and make a prescription based on their current financial situation, access to cash, etc. And so it would go something like this, like, hey, so, what we could do for you, because you really want this, instead of prepaying for the whole thing up front, why don't we just do this? Let's split it up monthly. So what you can do is actually get access here over the next 30 days for just $2,000 down. And then when that next payment hits, you already have systems built out. You already have a lot of momentum. And so that next payment is going to almost feel like an afterthought, because you're already moving in the right direction. So I guess if like we were willing to customize some type of payment plan for you like that, are you willing to move forward right now? So again, resurfacing, whatever it is, uncovering, all those words, what the actual real objection here is potentially, or if it's purely a financial issue, right? And so what then I do is, if they're hedging and they're like, oh, well, not willing, can't, won't, whatever, I'm moving to my deposit frame. And so I double confirm here. I'm like, hey, so like, you really want this, right? Like, it's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you tell me this isn't right for you, but it sounds like you need this. Okay. So since, we don't really have a set deposit for our 10K program, what feels fair for you right now to put down that wouldn't put you in a weird spot while you kind of put the rest together, so we don't have to lose any momentum here? And then they're still telling me no, and they're still not going to put down a deposit. Hey, so help me understand, like, if money wasn't the issue right now, is there anything else that would make you hesitate to move forward? And now, hey, so let's do this. I'll hold the plan structure for you that I promised until Friday. And then on that day, here's what we're going to do. Let's go on a quick 20-minute call, and then you can give me a yes or no, whether or not this is something you can do. Would that be fair? And now I'm basically not just pushing this into, oh, well, we'll just do a follow-up call and talk more about it, but I'm forcing the next call to be a decision call if they're not willing to put down a payment right then and there. And if it's purely logistical that they can't, I wouldn't beat them up too much over it. But very oftentimes, guys, it's It's not that they can't, they just don't want to, or they don't see the value in doing so. And so we have to dig into that. And, again, as a little extra bonus here, the JOLT methodology is something I've learned through a lot of the readings and the books that I've done. Shout out to the JOLT method. And we just kind of go through these different frames around, like, is this a pattern that they've been through before? They had the money, they didn't do it, they sat on this. Telling them what exactly they should do, make a prescription, as long as you've got some trust with them, limiting their options around, like, hey, like, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. This is the main thing you should do, taking away the risk. And then the final kind of loop would be either a direct close for a type A or type C person, or a type B is more of a supportive close. And so again, we'll go into more depth on those in a future video. I just wanted you guys in this one really understand this open wallet test and deposit frame so that you can ask probably the questions you're avoiding, but coming from a place of service to actually uncover, is this a real objection, or is there something else that I have to get into? So if you appreciated this video, if you thought this was helpful, do me a huge favor, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're putting out content like this all the time, and this helps us reach more people. And if you like this and you think that it'd be valuable, share it with someone else and let them have access to this as well, because this is extremely useful if you are consistently taking sales calls to be able to get to the real of what a person is trying to say when they're just trying to be too polite or too proud to tell you what's really going on. See you guys in the next one. Peace.